Let's set up features management page. We are going to web pages section and creating the new page, features management. We are setting the title, root, and we're choosing an icon. Alright, and let's set up the group, admin pages. Alright, let's have a look. Okay, and I want to also configure the order of pages. Here, let it be 18. Alright. The new page should contain several tabs about new features, approved features, and so on. Let us configure them. The first tab, approved features. Second one, suggested features. Then released ones. And the trash, declined ones. Alright, and each tab should contain the cards view for the data. We are creating new sections. Each page could contain more than one section, but we need only one for our cards view. Alright, here we see the tabs. Next, we should configure API Endpoint for our tabs. The destination structure features, then request management suggested features. We are configuring the endpoint for suggested features tab. We are configuring their conditions on user sessions. That role should be like admin. That function of managing features should be available for admins only. We are choosing their fields for reading, including the fields of connected object, of linked object user via user ID, and such fields as title, description, tags, and so on. We haven't chosen any fields for writing yet. And then go into the web pages, tab suggested, and we are choosing the new API endpoint. Alright, let's have a look. Okay, we see the objects. Let's choose some fields for displaying on the card, comment text. That way, alright? But you see that we don't see the visible name of the user. That means that those fields are empty, or we haven't chosen ID of the user. Yes, that's right, ID. And also, we should create a filter for objects. We don't need all the features, we need the features in status new only. Alright. Yes, that is correct. That is a new feature. And we see the user ID. Next step. Remember, we have features and bugs. And it would be great if bugs were red and features were green. And to reach that, we are going to the scenario of processing new requests and adding several new steps. Alright. The condition checks whether the type of the feature equals bug. That way. And if yes, we should edit the color, but we haven't had any field, so let's create it. Color, type of color, card color, I'm coming back to the scenario, editing mode. Alright, everything is correct, and let's edit object. If the type is bug, we are choosing color to the red. Let's use the service. Yes, that is the hex code of red color. And of course we should comment the scenario to make it readable. The first branch was the bug and the second is feature. Card color, let's choose some green one. I fancy that. Alright. And as usual, publish. And the scenario is running. So we delete all the old objects without any data in color field. Go into the web pages builder, to the list tab. We are choosing the field color, but there is none because we should add that field to the API endpoint for reading. That way. Okay, save, and coming back to the web pages builder, list tab, color, that is it. And you could choose the option of coloring. It could be border, it could be stripe or filling. I fancy border. Let's create a new feature. Type of feature, and I suppose it will be green. Submitting, checking, alright, it is green. And now I would love to change somehow to edit features from the admin page. So I'm coming back to API Endpoint settings and I choose the fields available for writing. There are tags, description, title, and the type. I would love to change types from bug to feature in some cases. And I see the tips that we should add ID available for writing as well. That allows us to edit objects if we specify the ID of object to edit. Alright, object, and here we see which fields are available for reading and for reading and writing. Title, description, tags, and type. I don't want to see the color on the objects card, and I want type be editable as dropdown as well as tags. So I'm turning on quick search option for those link and array link fields. Checking. Alright, the fields are editable. I could change the bug to feature, for example. But note that the card is still green when the type of the feature is bug. We should add additional scenario which changes the color of the card in case of the type was changed. So I pick the trigger changed object and I choose the field to be triggered type. It means that if type was changed, the object is going to pass the scenario. Okay. And here we are building the similar structure of condition and two edit object steps. The condition checks the type. If it equals bug, the color is being changed to red. I'm copy pasting it from the other scenario. Alright? Or we could store those values, so the colors, in global variables, global constants. That even would be more useful. But here we hard coding them. Alright, publish and run. And let's check. We are changing their type to feature, saving, and then from feature to bug and saving. Alright, the color has been changed. And now I would love to delete the quick search field under cards component. That is the option to turn off the quick search. Alright. And one more thing. I would love to identify features via some tangible ID. Let's create it. The inner ID, which is readable and easy to use. And then we are editing the scenario of processing new objects. Here we paste new steps. I would love to have IDs like T1, T2, T3, where the number is the number of tasks in the system in general. Okay, to calculate the number of tasks in system, we should have some variable. So I am adding that so-called context variable in parameters tab, in start tab. That was a context variable number, tasks number. Then, using the step search, I'm searching among features. I'm counting objects and I'm saving the result into that context variable, tasks number. And the search conditions are empty, so I would love to search all the features. And here we are saving to inner ID T minus and then the value of that context variable. Okay, publish and run. Now let's remove all the old objects from features. And we are adding new one. That object is going to pass through the updated scenario. Okay, here, but I don't see the field because, first of all, I should add that field to the visible name of the structure, inner ID and then title. And moreover, don't forget to add that feature is available for reading in API Endpoint. Let's see at the card settings. Yes, that is inner ID on the card and in the header. Alright, T1. Let's create new one, say a bug. And it should be T2. Okay. Moreover, I would love to sort the features. The new ones see at the beginning. So we are going to sort in section of API Endpoint settings, choosing the date requested as a sorting parameter, and alright. The features are sorted. Next, I would love to configure the profile. Firstly, I'm going to the system structure app users, web users, choosing their visible name. Let it be first name and then last name. We could see it here on cards. And now I want to add an option to change the first name and the last name for the user. I'm creating new API Endpoint profile. Then we're configuring the security layer. We're choosing the names first and last in the ID, and then we're choosing the same fields for writing. And also we should configure a filter. The user must see only one object, the user itself. The filter that ID equals ID. And right here we could test the endpoint to see the result. Here we are using the ID of user to get the session. And that is the answer, the response of API Endpoint. Only one object, with all the necessary fields. Alright, we are going to the web pages section. The system page profile, it is blank by default, and we are adding the form here. The form works with the profile API Endpoint. There are two fields, and I'm turning on the option to edit an object, ID of which equals to the ID of the user. Oh, that's right.